Highway devastation. One person killed in a crash outside of Wickenburg. A van and a semi-truck colliding head-on, closing the 93 for hours. It happened just 5 miles from where a DPS trooper was trapped in his burning car after another crash just weeks ago. This highway is the main route between Phoenix and Las Vegas, and the 93 now becoming a deadly gamble for drivers.
Nobody thinks it's going to happen to them, and then it's 2 in the morning and they're stuck inside their vehicle upside down.
Tonight, ABC 15 investigator Melissa Blasius calculates the odds of getting into a wreck on what some people consider the most dangerous highway in America. And we look at how to lower the stakes so travelers arrive safely.
The lights and sounds of Las Vegas, just a 5-hour drive from Phoenix up US 93. But too often, the trip ends with these lights and these sounds.
I could hear the screaming.
On April 30th, travelers became rescuers, pulling DPS trooper Casey Reinhardt from his burning cruiser.
I was able to grab onto the top half of the door and pulled it open enough to where I got a hold of the trooper.
We were falling all over the place, just trying to drag him and get him away.
Multiple cars had crashed near mile marker 174, miles from the nearest town, a place where cell phones and police radios have no service.
The Good Samaritans had to drive away from the scene to make a phone call to let the DPS dispatchers that they had a trooper that was down and needed help.
Congress firefighters arrived to triage 7 victims. They've handled mass casualties on this highway before.
We start working on the severely injured patients or the ones that we know are going to make it, and that's all we can do.
Literally, you're making life and death decisions.
Pretty much, yes.
Crosses along US 93 show where people have died over the years. Valley UPS driver Arthur Perez, Veronica Wood, who never made it home to Goodyear, and last year, young brothers Jackson and Cameron Clark, both killed on a trip to visit relatives. The ABC 15 investigators focused on this stretch from Wickenburg to Wickiup, 79 miles, including 34 miles of 2-lane road seen here in red. Congress's fire chief says there are too many impatient drivers and risky passing.
I can tell you that most of our wrecks that we go on out there are within a mile of a passing zone.
There were several years of declining fatalities in this area, according to data from DPS and ADOT. Then a sharp increase in 2020. 9 people died. That's despite ADOT's improvement projects, including widening many miles from 2 lanes to a divided 4-lane highway.
When it was 2 lanes, it was more head-on collisions we were seeing. Now it's rollovers. The road's nicer, it's wider, it's straighter. Speeds have increased.
ADOT crash data shows between Wickenburg and Wickiup, there were 181 total crashes in 2015. That grew nearly 40% in 4 years to 248 crashes in 2019.
Every road that we build and maintain is done to federal safety standards. Unfortunately, a lot of people drive it without a lot of regard for their personal safety or the safety of others, and that's why you see these horrific crashes.
Nearly 5 crashes a week. So what are the odds? Roughly 1 crash for every 15,000 cars that pass through. In areas so remote, one spot is literally called nothing.
But if you crash near nothing, help is nowhere nearby. In fact, you have to go about a 30-minute drive down a windy state highway to find a fire truck or an ambulance here in Baghdad.
In a perfect world, we've got ambulances that are within 10 minutes no matter where you're at. That's not realistic. This is rural Arizona.
Are there literally people on US 93 who die waiting for help?
Yes, there is.
The combination of fatal crashes and long average wait times for an ambulance led consumer website Value Penguin to name US 93 the most dangerous highway in America in 2018. Despite that distinction and increases in crashes and deaths, traffic enforcement, civil and criminal traffic tickets were down significantly in 2020. That's according to an ABC 15 analysis of filings in the rural Yavapai County Court that covers most of this stretch of US 93.
It's not acceptable We as a state need to provide better customer service. We need to take care of our citizens.
Arizona State Troopers Association President Jeff Hawkins says staffing is so low in Wickenburg that there's usually just one trooper on patrol and frequently no troopers after 1 a.m. Hawkins is lobbying the legislature and the governor for more trooper pay to help with recruiting and upgrades to radio dispatch in the area so first responders don't have communication dead spots.
We'll find out when they release their budget whether or not they're concerned about our roadways in Arizona.
Arizona Department of Public Safety officials declined on-camera interviews. In an email, DPS says slowing down drivers on US 93 is a high priority, and there was a targeted speed enforcement detail in March. That was before Trooper Reinhardt was hit.
People lost their lives, and people's lives are changed forever, and it just didn't need to happen.
For now, first responders are urging drivers to help lower the stakes, obey the speed limit, wait for passing lanes, and stop if drowsy. Do not make the drive to Las Vegas a deadly gamble. In Wickenburg, I'm investigator Melissa Blasius, ABC 15, Arizona.